12?
Well,
When did we first meet, Robert? 12?
oh, yes, yes, I don't try to yes.
Or was it?
Well, we corresponded. I really met about 2 years ago.
13.
Yes.
Back in 2013, when I was younger and much more naive, what got me into this was Robert Greig, because Robert Greig had the courage to stand up and speak truth with power. And Robert was locked up. And Robert was locked up because Robert started to speak about the Violate Club, which is a sex abuse and fetish club set up by an Airdrie lawyer, would you believe? And we think that the fear was that Robert was going to release the list of the judges and the teachers and the senior police officers who are members. List he doesn't have. But he was locked up. He was locked up on spurious grounds, and he was locked up in Perth. So I started to visit him, and I started to listen to him directly, and I found him even more convincing than he is on YouTube. And I started to ask questions. And when I started to get the response from the Scottish Government, that's when I got involved, because the response was garbage. So he's been my inspiration, and I know he's been the inspiration for a lot of people here. And it's a matter of courage, and he is the spiritual leader of everything that's happening in Scotland, to stick up for children who are abused, and people who are abused by the state, and people who are abused by the state. And I'm very proud to call my friend Robert Greig.
Well, thank you very much indeed. I hope you can hear me. I have a very soft voice. I could do with a microphone, but I'll do the very best I can.
Speak up, Robert.
Anyway, thank you very much. Thank you for those kind words, David. I'm very proud that you're my friend. You're a great guy. Wouldn't Scotland be a better place if David was First Minister? No kidding. No kidding.
I resign.
Anyway, a lot of things you know about, many of you in this room have followed me for the last 8 years. And I thank you all very much for your loyalty and for coming along tonight. So I'm really moved by the reception, and I just thank you all from the bottom of my heart for everything that you've done. Now, of course, at the end of the day, a young girl with Down syndrome has been brutally sexually abused. And fundamentally, I acted on this case purely on the official evidence. It wasn't that I chose to believe Hollie. I looked at all the evidence, and the evidence was overwhelming. Expert witness evidence from some of the finest medical practitioners in Scotland. For example, Dr. Jack Boyle here in Scotland, psychotherapist, one of the most eminent men in the whole of the United Kingdom. Dr. Eva Hardy, the renowned police pathologist and medical person, Dr. Francis Kelly, a lady. So many people, Dr. Paul Carter, they're all absolutely supporting the fact that Hollie had been abused. Also, of course, there was the little matter. Before I became involved in the case, because of Hollie's mother's tremendous courage and Greig to go after them, she managed, on the basis of the evidence that I worked on, got an award from the Criminal Injuries Compensation Authority, who accepted on the weight of the evidence that there was no question that Hollie was a victim and awarded public funds to her. So all of those things were in favour. I even had a letter from the Chief Constable Andrew Brown, Grampian Police, fully supporting Hollie, and so did all the officers who had interviewed her. Now, because nothing had happened, because it was all hushed up, and asked me if I could possibly do anything to help. And having looked at the evidence, I did so. And it was quite clear that there had been a monumental cover-up at all stages. The Scottish authorities did not want anybody to know what had gone on. And Hollie Greig had named 22 people as her abusers. And what I can never forget, and none of you would have got this too if you'd been there, when I managed to get the case reopened on the 8th of September 2009, I was present when Hollie spoke for 3.5 hours, 3.5 hours about being raped not just by one person but by 22 people. And this is a lady with Down syndrome. It was incredible. It's the bravest thing I've ever heard. And if there's one real hero in Scotland, or heroine if you like to call it that way, it is Hollie Greig. There could be no braver woman in Scotland than Hollie Greig. And if anybody had heard what I had heard, I would defy anybody not to do what I had done. It was that powerful. And don't forget, of course, Hollie had actually witnessed other children being abused as well. And the fact that the people who, there's obviously at least one perpetrator, there's no question about that. The people who have perpetrated the actions on this obviously are a threat to children all over Scotland, particularly the Aberdeenshire area. So countless children at this very moment are at great risk because the police and the Scottish government, and I'm going to the very highest level, have tried to cover this case up. One of the reasons I think that the Hollie Greig case is so important, there are many, is that unlike just about every other case that you hear about or read about or whatever, there is a direct line to the highest political position in the land. On the 26th of May 2011, the Information Commissioner ruled that the entire Scottish Cabinet, obviously led by Alex Salmond at the time, was also included amongst its number Nicola Sturgeon and Deputy First Minister John Swinney, had breached sections 10.1 and 21.1 of the Freedom of Information Act, Scotland. The Scottish Government still, this directly over Hollie's case, the Scottish Government still actually ignored the rule. And on the 11th of July 2011, the entire Scottish Cabinet faced the criminal charge of contempt of court. They spent within 24 hours facing criminal charges. Now, did any of you read anything about that in Scotland?
No.
What could have been more important? The entire government of your country in Scotland facing criminal charges, already having broken the law, over the rape of a disabled girl. It's a scandal. It's a scandal by the media in Scotland. They were too scared to speak out. Is it any wonder that children are raped and brutalised everywhere? The disabled have the same treatment everywhere, when there's a cowardly mass media here who are scared to say anything about these terrible things. Yeah. Just as they're scared to talk about Jimmy Savile when he was alive. It's just not exclusive to Scotland, it's all over the United Kingdom. It is absolutely scandalous, and those people have on their conscience all the children who have been abused because they kept their mouths shut when there's absolute evidence that the Scottish Government had covered this up. I'm just going to read one of the people I'd like to congratulate on being courageous in the authorities. One, I must, and this is a non-political thing, you'll probably, I'm blaming the SNP on this, but it's nothing to do with politics, it's nothing to do with the defence issue. It is just the conduct of these people as human beings. It doesn't matter what their political views are, it's the same. Now, on you all remember the Scottish independence referendum day. Well, one of the people I've been working with closely was the Shadow Justice Secretary, the Labour man, Greig, an ex-policeman who's based in Glasgow. And at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the day before the referendum, Mr. Pearson rang me up at home and asked me how Alex Salmond was implicated, most of the things, in the Hollie Greig case. And of course, I gave him the details. And as we know, on the Friday, when the referendum went to stay in the United Kingdom, Mr. Salmond, having said on the Monday that he was going to stay as First Minister no matter what the result, suddenly resigned. of course, now we have the same situation now where Nicola Sturgeon is First Minister, and she too has obviously been implicated in this back in 2011. And yet, she and John Swinney, the Deputy First Minister, wanted to take control of your children. They thought they were fit to take control of Scottish children in the Named Person Act. The very people who had covered up the brutal rape of Hollie Greig. They should be kicked out now, and they could be kicked out tomorrow if anybody in the mainstream press actually came out and just read it. This is a matter of fact. It's not my opinion, it's factual. And that's all it takes. And, you know, nothing really is going to progress until these people are fully exposed for what they have done. Now, obviously, I must congratulate Greig Pearson because he's very good over this in speaking out. Unfortunately, he's decided to retire from politics, but he's one of the very few people in Scotland, few politicians who have the guts to actually do something about this terrible case. I'm just sorry that he's not here now to help. Now, we have another very courageous person in Scotland I'm going to mention because this happened fairly recently. Now, obviously, once the inquiry into historic child abuse in Scotland was set up, which was against the SNP's wishes, it's a credit to the Labour Party that they did push for it with Mr. Pearson in the vanguard. But when they had set it up, we were all asked to present submissions about cases. And I did a submission dated the 27th of January 2016, laying out the basis of the Hollie Greig case. And within the submission, I answered a covering letter to say that I believed that the Scottish Government would interfere with the independent inquiry because they were implicated in one of the most serious cases of all that was to be reviewed. So it was left with the panel, and as many of you know, at the end of June, 28th of June this year, one of the panel of three, Professor Michael E. Lamb, Cambridge University, came out and said he was resigning because of continued interference by the Scottish Government in the inquiry. And we know why they were interfering. They were up to their necks on this. This was followed very shortly by the chair, Susan O'Brien, QC. And Susan O'Brien, I think, is someone who's been very, very brave and has showed great integrity on this. And of course, she resigned and publicly said the same thing. Now, I'm very glad to say that I am corresponding with Ms. O'Brien. I think she showed great courage, and I hope we can make some progress as a result of the discussions that I've been having with her. So, we are getting a few people now who are beginning to have the guts to speak out. True patriots, people who really, really believe in Scotland, unlike the people who pretend to be patriots, but are actually traitors to every man, woman and child in this country. Yeah. I'm speaking, I just carry on and blabber on. But there are one or two things I would like to tell you about. One of the key documents which I depended, and which was presented for David Least, by the way, for his disgraceful assassination and attack on a disabled woman and her mother, who could not respond because she was faced with an injunction in England. She couldn't say a word about it. And in fact, just to go over the little bit about Least, rang me up just before that dreadful article was published and asked us, demanded to speak to Anne Greig. I said, David, you know very well that she's under an injunction not to talk about the case at all. She will be in serious trouble if she does so, and you know that. And regarded this as he's trying to induce her to break the law. Is that bad? This is the chief reporter of the Herald Scotland. I'm glad it's been filmed because I want this man to see this. Now, what I suggested to him, he said, well, I've got to speak to her before I do the article. I really need to speak to her. I said, well, I'll tell you what we'll do, David. I said, you present the details in writing, put the submission to writing, email them to me, and I will email them to Anne, and Anne then will be able to speak to her legal representative, advisor, and then, based on that, it will be decided if or how she responds. Couldn't be fairer, could it? But of course, Least went, he had no intention of giving her the chance to do that. And he just went ahead and published this a dreadful, cowardly piece of journalism, which which I think is absolutely disgusting. The other thing I would say is, because I knew the lease had been tipped off, the lease was trying to do a hatchet job, for perhaps reasons that David has alluded to. He had the promise of a nice cushy job if he did as he was told. I made sure that he had all the key documents, the medical documents supporting Hollie, before he did that article, suppressing all that information. Curiously, the Herald, of course, missed, they were very happy to attack Hollie and her mother, and me as well, but that's not so important, it's Hollie and her mother. But curiously enough, Herald Scotland, of course, had missed a much bigger story in 2011 when the case of covering up had come back into the information position. And they, of course, the near situation of being found to have been held in contempt of court. That was a huge story for the Scottish people, but they didn't report that, did they? That was a year earlier. This goes to show the standard of journalism in Scotland. And of course, sorry?
The gatekeepers.
Of course they did.
So the courts.
Yeah. Anyway, just to give you an idea, because many of you know things are going on, you've seen lots of documents that have been published. But this is a key document that was in the hands of the Scottish police when they re-interviewed Hollie at the interview that I told you about on the 8th of September 2009. And it comes from it actually comes from Andrew Brown, QPM, signed by another of his officers, Ian Alley, Detective Inspector Ian Alley. Now, certain things I will leave out for certain reasons, but I will, because obviously it may cause legal problems, which we do have well with at the moment. But I will read you some of the passages in this, which was in the hands of the police when they interviewed Hollie in 2009. On the 20th of May 2000, Hollie was examined by Dr. Francis Kelly, who I've mentioned briefly before, now retired but then retained by Grampian Police as a forensic medical examiner. Dr. Kelly found that there was evidence of previous penetration of Hollie's private parts. I'm sorry this is a little bit delicate, but it needs to be said. You need to understand this. She signed a formal certificate to that effect. The investigating officer at the time and others who've conducted further inquiries since were all of the opinion that Hollie had been the victim of penetrative sexual abuse at some point in the past. And goes on to talk about the person who was the chief suspect. The letter is all extremely supportive of Hollie, and this is what further things that he said. Officers who have dealt with Hollie have taken the view that she was a truthful witness to the best of her ability and an entirely innocent victim, not an alleged victim, an entirely innocent victim. A letter bearing the name of the Chief Constable of Grampian Police at the time in 2003. She appears to have been distressed by what happened to her, and if this is correct, a certain person was responsible, this would have been politically traumatic for such a vulnerable person. And it goes on in the same light there, but very, very obviously overwhelming evidence that was in the hands of the police when they interviewed Hollie. The police officer who interviewed Hollie was called Lisa Jane Evans, DC Lisa Jane Evans. Hollie very clearly gave the names of all the people. It doesn't mean they're guilty, of course. It does not mean, I've never said that. All I would say is that obviously the evidence was so strong that all those people should have been questioned at the very least. And as is normal procedure in cases like this, have their computers examined. Now, when I was taken to court for the first time in 2012, DC Lisa Jane Evans was called as a witness for the prosecution. And when Lisa Jane Evans was questioned by my QC Andy Lamb about this, she said in court of oath that not one of the people named by Hollie had ever been questioned. Not one. Even though the evidence was extremely strong against two people in particular. So this is the depth of the cover-up. And of course, they didn't want to look at the computers, did they? Because who knows what names might appear on this. It's very well known that paedophile groups and Satanist abuse rings use photography a great deal, mainly to perhaps their own gratification, but partly to blackmail people who are in the ring so that nobody dares speak out, because there's a film of you doing this, that, the other, so if you say anything about it, you'll be in it as well. So this is the way it operates, but of course the Scottish Government did not dare to have to take this evidence, because who knows where it would land, who knows what names would appear on that, who knows what links there would be in the network. It is that serious. But when you have listened to Hollie, as I mentioned before, a young woman, 3.5 hours, saying all sorts of terrible things, some I won't even tell you about because it would be nightmares, then there's something seriously wrong when the police make no attempt to investigate. Now, who actually stopped the investigation? Well, the person that we believed stopped the investigation was none other than Elish Angelini, who was, of course, Lord Advocate in the period from about 2006 to 2011. Now, the reason I'm well aware of this is we had 3 documents at that time about the period when she was Procurator Fiscal in Aberdeen, when Hollie first brought up the allegations. And I had 2 letters. I seem to see Brian Adams' name coming up, MSP up there, because we had 2 letters from Brian Adams, MSP, to Hollie's mother, actually stressing that he had contacted Angelini for progress on the case. He wanted to know what was going on, and he was waiting for responses. And on top of that, we also had a document signed by Angelini herself, dated the 12th of July 2001, to Hollie's mother's solicitor, with a brief note about Hollie's case. But when the case was, no one did anything about the case after Hollie had given us hard evidence with all the support, medical support, everything else from the police. This is what the Crown Office and Procurator Fiscal Service had to say. During the course of this investigation, it has been alleged by others that the Lord Advocate, Elish Angelini QC, this is dated 4 December 2009, had in some way covered up Hollie's allegations. These allegations are unfounded, and this has been supported by a careful scrutiny of the case. All key decisions in relation to prosecution in Hollie's case in 2000 and 2001 were taken before or after the Lord Advocate's time as Regional Procurator Fiscal in Grambling, and were taken by other senior prosecutors, not the Lord Advocate. In addition, the Lord Advocate does not have any involvement in the recent decision by Crown Counsel that there should be no criminal proceedings. Just remember this is a court document at my trial. And on the basis of this, my legal team cited Elish Angelini as a witness for the defence. Angelini refused to come forward and face cross-examination, and the Sheriff Principal Edward Bowen allowed her not to stand. Of course, Sheriff Principal Bowen, who I wasn't aware of at the time, had failed to actually inform the defence that he had been a business associate of Angelini for 10 years. And they had actually resigned within 24 hours of each other on the 5th and 6th of May 2011, respectively. So Bowen was obviously a gross conflict of interest, and he had not refused. He refused this to the defence, and would obviously be to my detriment. I did actually, when I found about this situation after I'd been found guilty by Bowen. And some of you were in court, I think on the 7th of February when my sentencing was taking place, and I challenged the sheriff over this particular incident about concealing vital evidence about his relationship with a cited defence witness from the court. And of course, Sheriff Principal Bowen took this very badly. He started to rant and rave, and even made racially discriminatory comments about me in the courtroom, which discussed the audio. And the words, more or less, obviously many people there, including some of the people that are here today, he used the words in the middle of his tirade against me. How dare you, an Englishman, come all the way up to Scotland to tell us what to do? We know how to run the justice system here. So on that basis alone, he is displaying racial prejudice and was not fit, even just on those grounds, to take the case. In fact, that may well be a criminal action. Of course, we later found that although this is all audio, this was missing off the statement. It had been left out. And the person who was, I appealed about this and wanted a proper investigation because I and all the people knew this had been audio, so there's no reason for us to say this to lie about it, none whatsoever, because we thought the audio was there, we told it the audio. And I went before Lady Smith, who's now been put in charge of the child abuse inquiry. Yes? And Lady Smith told me, she said, well, she said, I've listened to the recording, and there's no mention of these two sentences that you and others have heard. And I said, well, in that case, would you like to let me have a listen to it for myself? No, you can't. You just have to take my word for it, she said. This is justice. So, obviously, she found in favour that what I had alleged was not substantial, and found in favour of Bowen in this particular case, even though many people had heard it, and 7 people had offered to Lady Smith, witnesses to the case, to come forward with sworn statements about what Bowen had actually said to them. But Lady Smith didn't want to listen to the eyewitnesses. She just wanted to listen to Bowen and the clerk of the court, Elaine McLeod, who's hardly a disinterested part. She probably had a job that's on the line over this if she didn't play forward. So she listened to those 2 people who had every reason to lie and ignored the 8 people who had no reason to say anything but the truth. And now there she is taking over from Susan O'Brien. She's not fit to be in front of the child abuse. I thought I would just tell you, we just talked about the Alice Angelini not having any influence at all in the decision to block the Hollie Greig case. Now, I was very interested in this right from the start. I couldn't understand why they hadn't gone ahead. They talked about insufficient evidence in this, just insufficient evidence. And of course, we know that's insufficient because if we don't interview any of the people who are involved, then it would be insufficient, wouldn't it? In any case, it doesn't matter what case, it would be insufficient. But we didn't actually know that at the time. However, it's quite clear here that, according to the Crown Office, Alice Angelini had nothing to do with the case. However, thanks to some gallant work from David Scott, I have to say, who on the 28th of April 2014 went to a public meeting in which Kenny McCaskill was actually speaking and challenged Kenny McCaskill over this very issue. And this was being recorded, and Mr. McCaskill actually blurted out that yes, it was Alice Angelini who had blocked the case.
Secretly recorded. He blocked his own meeting.
Oh right, all right. But before that, after I received this letter in 2009, I decided to ring the Crown Office to find out how it could be that the case had been, that the case had not taken place, but gone ahead because of insufficient evidence. And eventually I spoke to a lady called Kathleen Hardy QC, who was in charge of the sexual abuse section at the Crown Office. And I said, I've been told that independent counsel was responsible for blocking this case. What is the name of this counsel? And Kathleen Harper got very uncomfortable and was wavering, and I thought she was going to put the phone down, and I thought she's not going to speak to me. But I kept at it, and I said, come on, this is important. Children's lives are at risk here. Come on, have the guts to speak out. And she said to me, it was the Lord Advocate. It was the Lord Advocate who at that time was none other than Alice Angelini. So what Mr. McCaskill has been saying is merely corroborates the statement of Kathleen Harper QC. We have a dreadful situation here. There's also been a letter from the Scottish Government itself here regarding Alice Angelini's claim that she had nothing to do with the case. And of course, this is the basis of the defamation case against me, that I wrongly accused her of covering the case up. But here, the Scottish Government itself, the Criminal Law and Licensing Division, it says here that the allegations referred to were investigated by Grampian Police and reviewed by the Lord Advocate, Dame Alice Angelini, and found to be false. This woman is a pathological liar. She is not fit to be in any office. She should, in my opinion, she should be in jail. She is absolutely. Been given a job by Theresa May to apparently looking after the interests of people who died in police custody. Well, I suppose if you wanted to cover anything up, who better than David UKC? Right, I think up to most of the things that we'll talk about now, but I think many of you are aware that Angelini's case against me was abandoned on the 24th of December 2014 because I required Angelini to provide evidence of a loss, or personal loss. She wrote a claim against me. In order to be assured that there was no fraud involved, I needed to know that she lost money. She could not do that, and the case was duly abandoned in 2014, nearly 2 years ago. But just a few days ago, once out of the blue, I got a note from a bailiff in Manchester called Andrew Wilson & Co. telling me that I owed English Angelini nearly £32,000, and they were going to come round to my house and all the rest of it if I didn't pay up. Well, I asked the bailiff who had actually instructed them to go after me. To my surprise, the bailiff said, "Oh, it's the Scottish Government." The Scottish Government? This is a civil case. How can the Scottish Government possibly be involved in a civil case? So I discovered the person who was responsible was the legal director in the Scottish Government, and her name is Shona Bathgate. So I rang Miss Bathgate up, and to cut a long story short, I asked her what business could possibly be agreed for the Scottish Government to interfere in a civil case that had already been abandoned anyway. And of course we had evidence by this time to show that Angelini had lied to the court by this time, thanks to Mr McCaskill and the crime directorate. She'd actually committed perjury in order to influence the judge, Lord Ballantyne, who incidentally refused me any kind of legal aid. We'd also, digressing a little bit, we also simulated an investigation into the funding of this case through Audit Scotland, and Audit Scotland confirmed that the money had been allocated, your money, taxpayers' money, UK taxpayers' money, it's not a devolved issue, and that had been granted to Angelini by Sir Peter Housden, the permanent secretary at the time. Sir Peter Housden's successor is Miss Leslie Evans, and I have written to Miss Evans to ask for copies of the, based on Audit Scotland's findings, for a copy of the correspondence that Elisha Angelini must have used in order to persuade Sir Peter to allocate public funds to her. Because I believe within those documents will be another serious case, attempt to obtain public funds by deception, because we know she's lied about the case. She would have to have convinced Sir Peter that she was telling the truth and that I was lying, basically. And of course that is entirely wrong. Leslie Evans is prevaricating, won't provide the information, and now it is subject to a freedom of information request. And this is going to be crucial because it will be another nail against Angelini when we get hold of it. Hopefully we will get hold of it, but I think there's enough evidence for her to be charged and arrested anyway, based on what we have in our possession. Now, just going back to Shona Bathgate, when I rang her up and asked her what business it was of the Scottish Government, she said, "Oh, well, I've been told this is an outstanding and I've been told to try and enforce it." So I said, "Well, who told you? Who gave you the instructions to go after me?" And she said, "Oh, it's the Crown Office." So I said, "The Crown Office?" She said, "Yes, it's the Crown Office." I said, "Right, give me a name. Who was it at the Crown Office? Who told you to go after me for this money that I do not owe anyway? Who was it? Well, give me a name." "I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you." I said, "Come on." I said, "You must be hiding something. You won't tell me who it is. You're hiding something. The Crown Office have no business in this." Anyway, she still persisted not telling me. But then I was able to drop the bombshell in that we had a letter from the Crown Office dated the 19th of November 2014, which specifically stated that the Crown Office, any civil cases are out with the scope of the Crown Office. They just deal with criminal cases only. And they specifically mentioned in the same paragraph the fact that the actual and specific Angelini case against me. So then I persisted then with Sherman Bathgate, who at this time was in some state of disarray, I think. I would say that he became very nervous indeed. And she blurted out the immortal words when I told her about this, that she says, oh yes, well, I know it's not right. I know they're not allowed to do it. That's why they told me to do it. That is what I said, right. You have just admitted you are a senior solicitor at the legal director of the Scottish Government, and you have just confirmed to me that you knowingly acted as an agent for an unlawful attack on me. Harassment, attempt to extort money from me. So this is where we are at the moment. It's shaking on my foot a bit. Miss Bathgate rang me about 10 minutes later. They're supposed to go after me at 4 p.m. on the 24th of November, last Thursday. And in a very demure voice told me that, well, just going to speak to the bailiff and they're going to stay for another week, which is tomorrow. So I'm still not out of the woods yet, but I think I have quite a significant role there. We've got a letter together with some help from a very noble gentleman who's sitting just to my right here. And we've sent it to Murray Sinclair, the head of the legal directorate, about all the false things that go on in the case, and there's no case to answer for at all. And I want an apology for him and a withdrawal immediately. So we're just waiting for that. I've also written, of course, to the bailiffs to tell them that they've been duped. They've made an attack on me, probably unwittingly, because vital information was concealed from them by the Scottish Government. I did take the trouble immediately to put in all the bits and pieces, including the bits and pieces about the First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon, and the previous First Minister covering up for the case. Something that I don't think the bailiffs have been informed. The bailiffs in England have been informed about by the Scottish Government. So it's becoming very widely known now. And just another little thing that might interest you, you've probably heard of a young SNP MP called Mary Black. From what publicity, I'm now corresponding with her. With all the details. I've told her, why aren't you kicking out Alexander? How is this man who has betrayed Scotland, betrayed the children of Scotland, allowed to remain in the Scottish Nationalist Party? There should be no place for him.
Yeah.
On that account, I was also invited to a meeting in Westminster about just over a month ago. And it was chaired by Lady Collins and Lady Howe. And I had the chance to talk to Lady Howe afterwards, and I proposed to her, along with other MPs who were there, that no member of the SNP in the Westminster Parliament should be allowed to sit on any commission regarding the sexual abuse of children. If they can't take action against Alex Salmond, then they're not fit to be on any kind of commission. So that's left with them. We're just waiting to hear a little bit on that. But a lot of things are on the go at the moment. And I'm not sure I mentioned this. I have written to the current Lord Advocate, James Wool, asking him, stating that I believe there's enough evidence now for the arrest and charging of Elise Angelini on a number of counts. Perjury in the Sheriff Court against me then, perjury in the Court of Session, almost certainly obtaining public funds by deception, and possibly perverting the course of justice in the case of Hollie Greig. Now, obviously, the current Lord Advocate's in some difficulty here, because as I understand it, and anyone correct me if I'm wrong, the law of Scotland states that everybody is equal under the law in Scotland.
Yeah, that's a lie.
Is that not the case? Yes, it is. So I've just had a little acknowledgement from the Lord Advocate. Yes, I just had an advocate that they're looking into it. So let's see what happens on
You
it.
need to get George to give out your links. I think you can make on
Yes. Yes, you've been telling me about that. There's a few things I've been missing, I know. But anyway, what time are we now? It's after 9 o'clock. I'm going to conclude now, and I think it's going to be time for some questions. So I would just say there's much more that I would like to tell you, but obviously we've run out of time, obviously. But thank you very much all for coming today. I'm very grateful. Two documents about the charges that the information was laid against the Scottish ministers. And also, I have a copy of the letter from Mr. Salmon to his own constituency office, dated the 14th of February 2014, in which he says categorically the Scottish government had fulfilled the requirements of the Information Commission's decision on the 28th of January 2011. That was 4 months before the ruling found that they had not complied. So he's even prepared to lie to his own constituency secretary, Mr. Neil Bailey.
Well, it isn't sure. Don't lie about it.
So, there we go. Anyway, that's it.
So, we're running a little bit late, as we always will, these events. If you've got any questions for any of the speakers, please just stick up your hand and let's have it.
The bodies that they were talking about from these Malmos.
Yeah.
You mentioned that a couple of times when you were talking about it.
We've had information which is from a source that is too frightened to go public. Which has confirmed that the excavations that were taking place at night on Crummin Estate were what the Doherty's feared. If bodies being removed. We've been told that by one source. It's a very well informed source, but it's not a source that's able to go public.
Right.
So that's where we are on that. But we have, we confirmed, we set out to confirm that the Doherty's statement that there was excavations at night was true, and that was confirmed. And they told us a lot more, but I can't actually go public on a lot more until we get more corroboration on it. But it speaks to an extremely high level removal of evidence and come up with the case. The sort of what we were told could only be, if it's true, could only be the people at the very, very top of our society and government and power elite, who can pull strings that you and I could never imagine touching to make what we were told happen. And that was from an independent source, and it was essentially volunteered. It didn't even come from one of our questions. We were just talking about the case, and out came this.
Right.
So when we set out to try and verify what the documents were telling us, and we found several mistakes in the account, and in every single case, the mistake was the people that we're dealing with were far more compromised than they knew. Right? It was, when Doherty's got it wrong, it was because the reality was much worse than the Dohertys would have imagined in their position. We never found anything that didn't back up the story in terms of what happened to them in Scotland. Not anything. And that took a while to establish, because things like the police officer introducing himself as Sergeant Sam Buchan when he was not Sergeant Sam Buchan. So you've got a guy there in a Police Scotland uniform saying, I am Sergeant Sam Buchan, and that's a lie. Now the Dohertys had no idea that was a lie. Why would you? Why would you think that? They didn't, but that's what came out of the investigation.
David, did you see anything about the update on the Dohertys, or did you see anything about that?
I don't know if you caught the bit earlier on when I was talking about that we've had confirmation that Alan Lowe is that the Alan Lowe that approached them is definitely DC Alan Lowe stuff, because we've had the confirmation from another source that DC Alan Lowe is minus some digits on one hand, and that removes any doubt. We've not heard from the office for getting on for 3-4 weeks now, and we just have to wait. There's nothing else we can do, we just wait.
We're doing a what round again today for you?
Sorry?
We're going to do a what round again today for you?
Well, we do have some money for them, but at the moment we've no way of spending it. So I wasn't going to ask for any money today because we do have, we raised about £3,000.
I think I'd still like to, well, I'm not speaking on everybody, if we can or whatever.
I mean, if you wish to, we'll simply hold it till we have an opportunity to spend it. I won't refuse it. But
that and Robert as well.
yeah, we can maybe split it between the two of them if you wish. We raised about £3,000, which we've expended some of it, but at the moment there's no way of actually spending the rest. The right of this hall came from it because we thought that they'd be here. The plan was that Brian Doherty would be speaking tonight, but he obviously he's not, and I've no idea who he is. But if you wish to have a look round, yeah, please, we can do that at the end. You have a hat. Thank you very much. Thank you. And if it's okay with everyone here, if we can split it between, we can use it to pay the expenses for the two speakers to get in here. And what's left we'll put towards the documents, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
May I ask, how positive are you with the letter that you've designed for tomorrow to stop the bailiffs from attending your address? How definite are you that's going to prevent anything from taking place? And if it doesn't, what's going to take place?
Well, I've informed the police, the local police, and given all the documentation to show that it's an unlawful challenge against me. And I've warned I've got an incident number as well from the police, which is quite helpful. And I have informed the bailiffs that if I receive any threats from any of the staff, that they must be told at this present time that they are liable to be arrested and charged.
Okay. So that's pretty definite.
So they might still go ahead, nasty enough, but it would be quite risky for the bailiffs because they've already breached their obligations as High Court bailiffs by failing to provide proper evidence when the first challenge.
Definitely. Thanks. Thank you.
So there's another question over here, sir.
We were responsible for the IndyCar court case where we took on the parliamentary corporate body in Parliament. We've been slaughtered in the courts. The problem that I think we're all facing is the courts are broken. We've even got a document now explaining that the courts are broken by themselves. We know what's wrong with the problem that's wrong with the courts now is they took the conscience out of the people. Because if you had proper jury trials again, this stuff wouldn't happen because you can put anybody up there. And if you had a proper court like this book that I handed to the gentleman earlier, we're not got the right court system, we've got an administrative system that's broken. If you've got up in front of many dictators and they're telling us what's right and wrong. Instead of the people used to try the whole case. We talked about jury nullification on the UK column. Jury nullification means that the people are actually trying the whole case. The people are actually trying the people, not the state, because the state is trying is inherently unlawful.
This is exactly right. One of the problems we've got child stealing by the state, we've got secret courts, we've got secret administration who are then empowering people to use force to steal children from parents. So the parents want the children and the children want to stay. Right? If we had one law to change in this country, if we made that no child is removed from a family by force unless in Scotland, a jury of 15 had decided that that is just. We would stop that horrendous practice stone dead overnight.
Is there any way we could just set up a grand jury with us now and then indict it in our case? I think we've got enough evidence now that shows the courts are corrupt, they're using the wrong language, they've deceived us in all different shapes and forms. I think we've got enough. Even mortgages, even if you go to these mortgages, everybody's got a fair bit of cash.
I can look around this room and know there's people here who's got the knowledge to do this right away.
We can set up a
Faster
grand
than
jury
this.
and bring them and haul them into our case.
There's no
course, so-
I think the Scottish Grand Jury would be something we should have, definitely. And I have a suggestion as to where we might start. It's called Sheriff Principal Edward Farquhar Bone.
Right.
Because here you have a man that has changed the court record, and we can prove it. And why did they change the court record? Because it showed bias and it was a grounds of appeal. Now that I'm maintained, and I have outlined this. The system is meant to work in Scotland by the judiciary governing itself, right, policing itself. Through the Lord President.
Yeah.
And so I wrote in detail to, what was the last name? Gill, yes.
Yeah.
Lord
That was
President
Lord Gill that
Gill.
said the whole thing was corrupt and not for purpose.
I wrote in detail to Lord President Gill all the evidence we had against both. And I got Lord Gill's assistant gave me a 2-paragraph, please go away, we don't care answer. So they've had their chance to do it their way. And that's the one I know, but there would be very, very many other cases, and I think it's a point of getting people where there's an individual and it's clear cut.
Yeah. I mean, the handicap case alone, I mean, every stage of the case, every judge that was involved in the case, it's created some problem with the procedure. There's not one of them done their job, not one of them has even tried to do their job. Now we find out that Lady Dorian is on the board of Brodies who SBCB are paying. So she getting unjust enrichment for
Can I
that.
just add some dates if you don't mind, Aidan?
Sure.
After Bowen's performance, I applied to the, as I was refused any appeal, I applied to the Judicial Complaints Reviewer, a lady called Moy Allen, who I have to say again is someone I have an utmost respect for. And she not only reviewed my complaints against Bowen and said, no, he should have gone to a disciplinary judge. He should not have been able to go ahead and sentence you. And she also supported me about Lady Smith in the inquiry, about Bowen's conduct. And she found that I'd been discriminated against no fewer than 15 times. 15 times. You would have thought that would have been strong enough, wouldn't you? From the independent reviewer. But the only thing that could stop that, the whole case being reviewed, was the Lord President. And the Lord President has the final word. And in something that's unprecedented in Scottish legal history, the Lord President decided to throw it out despite the detailed analysis by the JCR in supporting you. He had the right to do that. What Lord Gill failed to tell me and everybody else was his son, also called Brian Gill, QC, is the legal advisor to Alex Salmon. There we go.
And it together.
No conflict of
And it
interest.
together. So can we, is there any way we can move forward and try and start something that can take
Well,
us
yes, I think what I would suggest is as a single point of contact, if anyone here hasn't received an email from me to say this is on, please send an email into my email address. It's northern_exposure@hushmail.com. Right? What we'll do is we'll take all of that information and we'll circulate out. I'll set up a discussion on some forum to talk about getting a Scottish grand jury put together, because frankly there's a lot of work to do, and it has to be done lawfully and it has to be done precisely.
Can I just get anybody a leg up, and you can get that book for about £13 on Lulu Books, right? And it talks about where the trial by jury system came from. Every court case in this land's been invalid because the people were never involved. And even when they were signed, they were sworn in, they were given the wrong duty, which means they were misled by the trial judge. So that every court case is knackered, not just one, every court case in this land, and everything needs to be reset. You know, but if you get Lulu Books, £13, probably the best book you can probably buy.
The very same book, I've photocopied it and put it online on the
Aye.
YouTube site under Police
I've
Scotland.
just tried to do that myself as well, mate. Just
I've-
so we can get it. Aye.
I've photocopied the entire book.
Aye.
Police Scotland. It's a YouTube site. It's paedophile organisation. It's not a PDF. Aye.
Robert, can I ask you, do you think they're coming back after you because you started to do public again?
Yes.
Yeah.
Without that.
After you put out jail for reasons and after for something that you have to turn up at the police station 3 times a week and
Every day.
the silence
Every day.
you mentioned that's talk about that and all that, and that was after the right? Yeah, so recently through, I don't know, I've been here, you know, I don't know, you came to Scotland in the summertime, is that right? Up at Newland.
Yes, that's a land, yes.
So they would be obviously super engaged, you know, keeping an eye on you. So to me it seems very obvious, and that's why I was asking the question, that all of a sudden this that was meant to be kind of finalised, and now they've been acting financially, which is what they do, you know, they try and...
It's pure maths.
Maybe Damon Lee Angelini was heavily invested in RBS stock. I mean, we don't know really what's...
Actually, heavily invested.
Don't forget, she is trying to claim money that she has not paid for herself, her own financial advantage.
One of the things we did is we got Audit Scotland very reluctantly to have a thorough 4 months investigation into all the funding of this, which, as far as we can tell, consisted of about 2 emails. But here's what we found out. We started off, we said, we've been told, and we're given the article that's been published in the press, that there's a secret, unaudited slush fund of public money buried deep in the accounts of the Crown Office and Procurator Fiscal Service, used to prosecute or support or fund the members of their staff who become embroiled in civil legal disputes or in other embarrassing situations, including criminal situations. Is this true?
Yes.
And by the way, here is some invoices for £56,000 from that fund going after Robert.
So, any cases cost us £108,000 for a year's litigation.
So here's what they said.
Within the Carmichael case.
Right? Here's what they said. Right? What they said is the money that was used to go after Robert did come from the Crown Office, but it wasn't decided by them. It was decided by Sir Peter Housen, the Permanent Secretary. But the second question was, the only other question that they asked, what ledger entry, what ledger reference, only an auditor would know to ask that. What ledger entry was used, right? And the answer was, they gave the reference number. And that was the ledger entry for the Crown Office legal expenditure for criminal cases, right? So it's everything that they do, all legal expenditure for external legal services for the whole of the country for criminal cases, and the money to go after Robert Green in a private civil action was shoved in there. Now that is the very definition of buried. And Audit Scotland said, fine, nothing to see here, squeaky clean. That's the standard we have in Scotland. It's embarrassing. Any more questions, folks?
Yeah, can anyone lend us 108 grand?
Obviously not.
RBS, the biggest pick up.
The thing is, people don't know is there's a separate court in the higher court. It's called the Noble Office. It's basically standing in front of the King, it's the Sovereign's office, but nobody's really used it before, so we're just trying to find out that avenue as well to bring it in. Aye, thanks. So there's lots of talk if we can get
Any other questions before we break up, folks?
I'll be in touch.
Right, we're all questioned out. Right. No questions. By the way, if we start to do more work in Aberdeenshire, I might need 1 or 2 people just taking a comfort trip.
Very wise, David. From one who knows.
Watch me back. Because we have a lot of evidence of serious wrongdoing in Aberdeenshire, and I'm hoping the next few months we can bring forward more reports to the call. well,
When
it-
does
it-
the Aberdeen meet be?
we haven't quite decided yet, but it'll be probably the spring.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, Aberdeen's got a special place in our heart.
Yes.
I don't think I could bring myself to invite Robert to come to Aberdeen. I think we'll get someone else. Just in case.
You've reconsidered, David. Thank you very much.
Well, look, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, I beg for the night.
Oh, that's very nice.
Thank you so much for coming along tonight. I hope you got something out of it. If you haven't, you've got an email, please send me an email address so we can circulate all the information that's out. And thanks again.